Okay, today we're going to talk about micturition. Micturition is the ejection of urine from the urinary bladder through the urethra to the outside of the body. It involves involuntary impulses traveling from the urinary bladder over to the sacral region of the spinal cord, and from the sacral region of the spinal cord back to the bladder. There's also a voluntary portion that's controlled by signals from the brain, which are very important because they help us control if and when we urinate. So here's the normal series of events that occur. When the bladder's volume is at a threshold, so when the threshold's hit, here's my full, beautiful drawing of a urinary bladder. Okay, when it's full at about 300 to 400 milliliters or so of urine, the muscles under involuntary control are stimulated. So stretch receptors detect filling in the bladder, and afferent signals are sent over from the bladder to the sacral region of the spinal cord. Okay? Then signals return from the sacral region of the spinal cord via parasympathetic fibers back over to the bladder from the sacral region of the spinal cord. Okay? And those are hitting over here on the external part of the bladder. So the efferent signals excite smooth or the detrusor muscle from the bladder and relax the internal urethral sphincter. So here at this time, urine could be voided or expelled. However, at the same time, when their signals are being sent from the bladder over to the spinal cord, there's also signals being sent up the spinal cord to the pons and the cerebellum, or the cerebrum, excuse me. This is actually where we receive information, where it actually gives us a conscious desire to urinate. Okay, so at this point, if it's not time to urinate, there's signals that are sent from the brain or the cerebrum down the spinal cord that are actually going to inhibit the micturition reflex, which also will cause or inhibit the external urethral sphincter from opening. So that way, urine is still stored in the bladder at this point, okay? So if it is time to urinate, once again, there's going to be messages that are sent down from the brain through the spinal cord, and it's actually going to not do that. It's going to excite the micturition reflex, and it's going to actually cause the external urethral sphincter to open, both of which have to occur in order for urine to be expelled or voided from the bladder. So this is the normal process of micturition. Unfortunately, that's what happens for regular people, but unfortunately for infants and elderly individuals and those with neurological or spinal injuries, urination may occur as an involuntary reflex. Thanks for listening.